Ever since starting my business in Dubai 2 years ago, I've enjoyed spending longer than I would usually stay back in my hometown every summer because there's no risk of losing holiday days and I have the ability to work from pretty much anywhere. That said, and I'm sure any business owner will be able to relate, that while it is amazing we can work from anywhere, that means we do work from everywhere, which has its challenges. In this montage, I thought I would share what I got up to during my recent trip back to the UK, including some recommendations for art exhibitions, beautiful restaurants and walks, while also sharing some lessons and insights I took away as a business owner this year. For those of you I haven't met yet, hi, my name is Selini Bishop. I moved to Dubai over 8 years ago and started my own marketing agency called Chapters in 2023. I'm excited to share this latest video with you. Now, I'm originally from a small town on the south coast called Picklery, but my dad, aka the best person on the planet, moved to a little place called Angmering a few years after I first left home. It's not where I grew up, but honestly, it's much nicer. Angmering and its surrounding towns probably aren't top of the list for anyone visiting the UK because they're not as well known as your major cities, but the West Sussex county in general can be really beautiful and there are a few spots that are definitely worth checking out. First is Arundel. This historic town is one of the few places left that has maintained its traditional feel, with quaint sweet shops and tea houses that surround its famous castle and cathedral. I always love visiting Arundel, and this time I was there for the Gallery Trail, where artists take over a selection of cafes, streets and even houses with a showcase of their works every year. Whether you're a seasoned art enthusiast or just curious, it's a great place to visit. When in Arundel, you have to do some walks around the area. We started at the entrance of Castle Park and finished at Waterside Cafe, going through Arundel Park, which feels like something out of Harry Potter, and Swanbourne Lake, which is so picturesque, it feels like that scene from The Notebook. It took us around an hour, but we do walk pretty rapid. I've run my business now for 2 years and I've been very fortunate enough to travel while doing so. And I've always been quite flexible with my schedule, not necessarily having set working hours, but just getting through what needs to be done at any given time. And while that served me fairly well up until now, I think this year I was really craving routine. Maybe that's because we've been out of Dubai for so long, but I was starting to feel a bit disjointed by the time we got to the UK. I decided that moving forward, whenever I'm going to be travelling and working abroad, that I'm going to have set hours that I'm working every day, whether that's 9 AM till 2 PM, for example, and communicating that effectively to everyone, whether it's clients or friends and family. Having that routine allows you to feel a bit more at ease, I think, because you have a clear and defined structure. I'm also hoping it helps to remove that guilt of having to juggle work life and personal life when travelling, because everyone around you knows your schedule and it allows you to show up fully as your best self, whether that's at work or in your personal life. Another place that's always on top of my list to return to is Brighton, which for most people needs no introduction. A walk around the lanes with a pit stop in the sun is essential. And if you're working, there's a great cafe I always go to called Cafe Coho. An hour and a half train away from Angmering is London. The train is an absolute godsend as a business owner when travelling, as it's usually a good place to get work done. With an eSIM from Airolo and using my personal hotspot, I got a lot of emails done on the way. Our first stop and our home for the next few days is the Hart in Shoreditch. I take my hotel bookings very seriously, reviewing pages on booking.com and shortlisting my favourites before finally booking anywhere. This process can take days. This won me over for the 9 rating, stylish interiors, and the price point was somewhere in the middle. As soon as we got there, we knew we made the right choice. After the bags were dropped off, we walked to Camino, a Spanish tapas restaurant where we enjoyed patatas bravas, baked crab, and of course the charcuterie selection. Washed down with a rum punch for me and finished off with Basque cheesecake and arroz con leche for something sweet. A big shift in me this year has been trying to break habits that don't serve me anymore. Netflix, for example, and watching the same shows all the time. I'm a big believer in the best things are usually found outside of our comfort zone. So whether that's switching up your usual podcast, watching a documentary on something that you don't know much about, or even getting something from the supermarket that you wouldn't usually. I think all these things are really great for kind of like finding new ideas. So this year when I went home, I wanted to make it more about art exhibitions and the theatre, because these are just things that I wouldn't usually do when I go back. And I'm so glad I did, because they really ended up being some of the best moments. The Lion King at the Lyceum Theatre was a huge highlight of the trip for many reasons. One, arriving to the theatre took my breath away. Two, the interiors were beautiful, like taking a step back in time with all the carvings, details and chandeliers. Three, the show itself was amazing. All the actors are so dedicated to their craft and true artists. The music was the kind that makes you reflect, that touches your soul, and the voices were just amazing. It was also even more special watching it with Dad, given the storyline, and I'm really grateful for those memories. I definitely recommend adding it to your list. After the show, we wanted a bite to eat and grabbed 2 seats in Franco Manca, and oh my, I've been to Italy so many times and this was hands down the best pizza I've ever had. No surprise though, as they pride themselves on being authentically Neapolitan. It's got a cool, laid back, eating with your friends in their kitchen kind of vibe, tuck in with your hands, drink red wine and enjoy the view of the open pizza oven. The next day started with work. Yep, no change there. The lobby at the Hart makes for a really good working spot. Then we made our way to Paddington as I wanted to see one of my clients' venues, which at the time of recording this video was under construction. This was our first time on the Elizabeth line and to be fair, we were well impressed. I can tell you now that the venue was C'est La Vie Paddington, and it's an incredible fusion of traditional Asian influences with modern interiors by Prospect Design International. The 2-level space provides an exclusive, breathtaking view across the entire city, and now that it's open, it's definitely not one to miss. I reunited with Dad after the site visit and we stopped off at a Waterside cafe for a snack before our dinner reservation. After toying around with whether we should get the tube or walk to our next destination, we ended up taking the 1.5-hour route by foot, which ended up being yet another highlight of the trip. We saw so much of London, from the Italian gardens in Hyde Park to the London Peace Pagoda, and even stopped in the Ivy along the way for a mint tea, which was to die for. London on foot is, in my opinion, one of the best experiences you can do. When we finally make it to our dinner reservation, we're not disappointed. £1 a pop oysters, which is a deal currently running at Wright Brothers Battersea, Monday to Friday, 3 till 6 p.m, and Sunday, 6 till 9, with a selection of exquisite seafood washed down with champagne. I mean, what's not to love? Literally a stone's throw away from the next activity on our list, and I must say, this one took me by surprise. When my dad first told me he wanted to visit Battersea Power Station, I can't say I was particularly excited, but what an experience it was to learn more about the history and see how they've reclaimed and repurposed this iconic piece of history into a retail experience. Split into Tower A, which reflects its original Art Deco style, exposed metal and columns, and Tower B, which is more modern, it was a feast for any design enthusiast, and this was just a bonus. The real reason we went was for Lift 109, aptly named for how high it is in metres, where you travel upwards in a glass lift through one of the old chimneys. Coming out to that view was pretty spectacular. It's not often you see London from this angle.
Holy shit.
Finishing the night off in the hotel with sweets, watching TV and just having a laugh. Ever since running the business, I've been so much more grateful and aware of the significance of small moments like this, and I really cherish them. As we get ready for our final day in London before I fly out from Gatwick later, I had to get some work done with the support of a takeaway coffee from Dad, absolute lifesaver. Another thing I've learned and been practicing recently is the art of just doing something. You're not going to be creative all the time, and when you're travelling, it can be tricky to tick big things off your list when you're dealing with dodgy Wi-Fis and travelling in between places. I've learned if I'm not in a place to take care of the big things, focus on the things I can do. Keeping on top of those smaller things is really valuable, and they are always thrown to the wayside when things get busy. For our second to last stop of the trip, and I've been looking forward to this for ages, is the Little Duck Picklery, a small restaurant in Hackney. Food lovers, listen up. What makes this place so special is the small open kitchen counter where guests sit right in on the action, and the food offering that consists of the restaurant's own pickles, ferments and a small menu that changes monthly. The first plate, which consisted of pickled and fermented cucumber, celery, and there was also a curry flavoured thing. It was one of those experiences that stops you in your tracks, it was so good. We ordered the cucumber soup along with the beef at portuguesa and house salad, and a plate of the sourdough bread accompanying us throughout. We pushed it a little with the buttermilk pudding for dessert, but God, it was so worth it. The plates were relatively small but filling and so satisfying. We were recommended 3 to 4 would be enough for 2 people to share. If you're going to take anything from this video, take this and book a seat now. I really would recommend a kitchen counter experience. Our final stop, and a totally unplanned one, was Museum of the Home. Another reason why walking is so much better than public transport is you find so many nice surprises along the way. The exhibition was really fascinating, seeing how London homes have evolved over the years and learning more about how all the different cultures and ethnicities came to live and shape the city. There was also a feature on how squatting culture came about, from its explosion in post-World War II due to housing shortages to what it looks like today with government crackdowns. You'll learn so much, and I'm sure it will increase your curiosity with further research when you leave. In summary then, this trip had some tough moments, but it also had some pretty amazing ones too. And that's the reality of running a business. The ups and downs must always coexist. I'm super grateful for the summer that we had, and I'm actually buzzing to be back in Dubai, in the thick of it, in the hustle bustle, and just feeling energised for the months ahead. Although ask me how I'm feeling in a few weeks. Remember, you're in charge of your own schedule, communicating that to everyone because people aren't mind readers. Inspiration is usually found away from your desk, and the smallest moments are usually the most significant. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.